Hello, and welcome everybody to another week of the Petty Crew Radio Show. I'm your boy Boss Hog, host of the Petty Crew Radio Show, and as usual, I have my partners in crime. First, introducing all the way from San Antonio, Texas. It is good to have back this beautiful young lady, Diamond. What's good, Diamond?
Hey, everybody, it's great to be back.
All right. Also in the building, my other partner in crime, the first lady of sports, Roz. What's good, Roz?
Hey everybody, it's good to be back.
Hey, listen, woke up this morning lit. For you guys that do not know. Yesterday I was able to witness history with a school here in Dallas, Texas, South Oak Cliff High School, the Golden Bears. It has been 60 plus years since DISD has won a football title here in Dallas, Texas, and it was everything that you would want it to be. I see Roz over there lit. And so yeah, man, we turned up today. And I'm not sure if any one of these young ladies were able to attend, but I definitely attended the game with my son, my oldest son, as well as my brother. You had to be there to experience the atmosphere. Just imagine the whole city. Just imagine the hood. You hear me? If I don't care what school you went to yesterday, all it was about was rooting and supporting these young men of South Oak Cliff High School. I even went as far as, even though I am a Kimball Knight, I went as far as to buy something white and gold. Now I did not buy, and I had to be real specific in what I bought. I did not buy the official colors of South Oak Cliff, which are black and gold. So I did not wear like a SOC hoodie. But what I did buy was their state finals hoodie. It's a difference. It's a big difference. This is what the team wanted everybody to wear. For you guys who've seen any of the clips, they win it. They played in all white, so they wanted everybody to come out and support and wear all white. Coach Todd, who is the head coach of South Oak Cliff High School, had tweeted earlier in the week that it's going to be snowing here in Dallas, Texas, and so when I tell you everybody showed up and showed out, it was everything you would expect from a championship game. Uh, we were lucky to be surrounded by uh, some alumni, but it was some very special alumni who we were sitting around. Our schools have turned black, but for a lot of people that don't know, a lot of our high schools were initially all white high schools. Justin F. Kimball High school that I graduated from, was initially a all white high school. South Oak Cliff High School is another school that was initially white. And so we got to sit with Caucasian alumni. And when I tell you these gentlemen were into the game, you had to be there to see these guys as they stood up, as they scored. You get what I'm saying? It's just funny seeing, them blend in with us like they one of us, and they were older. You're not hearing me. Listen, these men have been waiting for years. We talking about graduating in the class of 60 something. You see what I'm saying? This literally means something totally different to these young men who are playing the game now. And so that was pretty dope. They beat a school called Liberty Hill. I have to look them up. Liberty Hill is north of Killeen. If you're familiar with Killeen, they're a little small town named after the town. Liberty Hill is the little town that they're in, and of course the high school is called Liberty Hill. Those gentlemen, got to give those young men a hats off as well. They played an excellent game. Sock just happened to prevail, made some key plays when they needed to. Otherwise, it looked like it was not going to go well for South Oak Cliff High School. And so, again, I'm sure you guys can probably watch it on a recap. I do have some gripes about this, and then I'm gonna turn over to you, ladies, and I want to know how you feel. I hate that this game was not a public game to be watched by the whole city of Dallas. The only way that you were able to watch this game is if you had direct TV or Spectrum. And it was on a network called Bally Sports. I guess it used to be the old Fox, Fox Sports or whatever the case may be. But you would think that with the significance of South Oak Cliff playing this game, that they would have somehow made this a local broadcast game, either on Channel 4, Channel 8, Channel 11, Channel 21. And so that's what I'm very disappointed about. The game itself brought in, if I'm not mistaken, I got to go back and look at the numbers. It was anywhere between 42,000 and 45,000 people at the game just to watch South Oak Cliff play Liberty Hill. But otherwise, it was a great game. Again, I want to salute South Oak Cliff High School. I want to salute all the coaches. I'm very proud because one of my classmates who graduated with me is also a coach on that coaching staff. And so I want to, again, salute all those men for an excellent job on yesterday. So with that being said, Roz and Diamond, you guys are Oak Cliff every day, all day. What were y'all thoughts and how was y'all mind, after you found out South Oak Cliff had won this state title? Roz, talk to me.
Well, I didn't go to SOC. I did live in the neighborhood, but I didn't attend. My sisters and my brothers attended. My brother actually played for SOC. When he was in high school, my sister ran track, and then my other sister, Carla, she graduated from there. So, of course, we've been hearing it on our family chat, and then I have a nephew that plays in the band, a cousin that plays in the band for SOC. But even outside of that, just for it being a school that's in a low income neighborhood, and they have achieved this goal, and it took them this many years to do it, kudos to them. Don't want to take anything away from their win. And it's just like Boss said, for Liberty Hill, the school that they were playing for, you had to win, or you had to be great in your district to even get this far.
Mm-hmm.
So there are no losers, in this. It's only winners, because you had to do great to even get this far in the game. So congratulations to both of those teams come in. And I think, on your point, the reason why it didn't get enough flack or enough backing that it should have is because the people that attend that school are not of the correct color in order for it to be pushed the way it should be. If you have ever attended a SOC sporting event at all, or even some of the schools that is in the Southern District, the color has changed dramatically. Let's go
Right.
ahead and say that. I attend their track meets, and even their track meets, the color has changed. It's not a black only school anymore with just a sprinkle. It is more sprinkles than it is Black people now at South
Mhm.
Oak Cliff, because of the neighborhood has changed so much. It's more Hispanics over there now than anything, and it shows in the sports. And I think the reason why they didn't get that big of a push is because they're not like a Carter, or they're not, like oh God, I just had that school in my head in North Dallas. But I think it's because of the area that it's in, that it only mattered, as we call it, the Black Super Bowl. That's the reason why that it didn't get the backing and the push. But the neighborhood came out. And as one person said, I want to say it was Carmelo Anthony, when he was on the Shop, LeBron James show on HBO, he said, I feel most proud that the hood recognized me than the people in Hollywood. So the hood recognize our superstars, and I think they feel most proud because of that and the turnout at the game than what the others did as far as their acknowledgement.
Gotcha. Diamond.
Well, I definitely, first of all, want to say congratulations to the South Oak Cliff Bears and to Liberty Hill for making it that far. Again, you have to be part of the best in order to get to the state championships, but definitely being from Oak Cliff. Although I didn't attend SOC, I graduated from Skyline High School, but from being in the community, it was a great sense of joy and achievement, and just being a product of DISD to see one of our schools. Because again, it has been 63 years. We all know what happened with the Carter situation, which happened to have been in my era. I happened to have been at Carter when that situation took place. So we all know that feeling of joy and how the community came out. But I just want to say the community came out even in more droves, because I think this time it was even more special to be like, hey, we got it right. We fixed our mistakes. We're here. We're supporting it. I definitely agree with Roz on why they didn't get enough attention. We definitely know, as in everything, it always has to do with that color factor, as well as the social economic community as well. I think that played a big part of, is when you look at on the map where South Oak Cliff is located and you look at the demographics, definitely that comes into play a whole lot, because sad to say, but society as a whole has stereotyped so many of our communities, not just on our race, but also on your social economic statuses as well. So I definitely believe that had a major reason to be why they didn't get as much play. It would have been definitely awesome for, like you say, all of the community people that wanted to come that couldn't necessarily make it to games, that would have been able to see it and not just on that one network. I do appreciate the people that I know personally that were there. I noticed on your page, Boss Hog, you were telling people, hey, you can go watch the game here doing the shot. So I really thought that was inspirational. But just to see all of my classmates that did make it and that didn't, but was still representing from wherever they were, just like, hey, the hood came together. And just like Roz was saying, for me, that meant even the more was to be like, hey, this is my community, this is my hood, hey, we're here. So I think for me, that played a major role in just everybody coming together. You know, sometimes we need those small victories, and that wasn't small, that was huge, but it was a small victory in one place of the community coming together. And I say that because when you look into the whole situation of the Black Lives Matter, and you look at where we are as a people of color and coming together, that was one of those small victories for us towards the war of being even more unified.
I agree.
Gotcha. Also, for you guys that want to know, there will be a parade. The city of Dallas will be doing a parade, I believe, December the 21st, which is Tuesday. So you guys want to look out for that information that's going to be out there regarding a parade for South Oak Cliff. And before we keep it moving, there was a question posed by a gentleman in a group that I was in. Basically, somebody shared somebody else's status, and what it was saying was, basically, the city of Dallas dropped the ball in not lighting up the city goal. You see them all the time when Texas OU is here. You know, they make it known, that Texas OU is playing, and even they're going to salute the winner. If you're driving through downtown, they got that big old ball that can display anything. They got that other building that's right next to it that can display anything. And somebody just happened to take notice of that. And they were basically asking the same question, like, hey, somebody basically dropped the ball, and who dropped the ball, and not, again, these young men, as we like to say, put on for the city. Because this win, let me say this real quick. This win was just not about South Oak Cliff High School, and the head coach has made that clear. South Oak, DISD has 22 high schools, if I'm not mistaken. And out of 22 high schools, South Oak Cliff happened to be the only school left again in the state who was good enough and who played well enough to make it to the state championship game. And again, little bitty things could have been done. Yes, we supported. Yes, you've seen everybody do it. But why didn't you light up the city? Why didn't you make the city gold like you do for everybody else? And again, this win was just not about SOC. Yes, I went to Kimball, but but they represented Dallas as a whole.
It
Y'all
was
get what
for
I'm
the
saying?
D, as they said. It was for
Yeah,
Dallas.
yeah,
Yeah.
the triple D. They won for all the schools who just missed it by a little bit. Kimball had an opportunity. They kept losing in the semifinals to go to state. You had other schools within DISD who was getting close, but just fell short. You know, this win was for also think about it. Every little league coach who has been coaching young men of color until now. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what they coaching for. You started as a young age. We're out there on the football field playing Pop Warner in the Pop Warner leagues or any other league, and then you go to the elementary school, then you go to the junior high school, all the way up to high school. For all the coaches that have played and coached in playoff games, and finally we have a group of men. And when I tell you those young men, even at adversity, they never wavered because we thought it was going to be a blowout. When it was 14-0, we like, well, we might as well sit back and just enjoy this ride because they go just keep scoring on them. And
Right,
Liberty
we
Hill,
chilled. We chilling now. How you doing?
yeah,
That's when you start speaking to people. How you doing? Hey
yeah,
girl.
we was like, we
That's
just sit
you
there
all
like,
right.
this is not going to turn out to be a good game, you know. And Liberty Hill, to their credit, made it a game. Those young men played with heart. I've never seen a high school get to the state championship just running the ball. Let me be clear. Yes, Sock won, but they definitely had to earn that win. Liberty Hill put up 208 yards rushing. Let me say that again. They put up 208 yards rushing. They only threw 2 passes the whole game. Now think about that. If you are a sports fan, you have never watched any sports team, any football team. I don't care if it's little league football. I don't care if it's junior high. I don't care if it's high school. I don't care if it's state, college, NFL that literally makes it to a championship just running the ball. That's major. Like Ron said, we don't want to take nothing away from Liberty Hill because those gentlemen, they did their thing. I watched in amazement how you can literally run your way to a state championship game, and they run that offense very well. So again, we want to salute South Oak Cliff High School as a product of Oak Cliff. I got my little old hoodie on that says "Just a Kid from Oak Cliff," and so we definitely want to again salute both sides because again, at the end of the day, these are Texas high school teams. With that being said, man, we're gonna keep it moving. For you guys that watch our show, we have touched on and talked about a couple of stories that didn't have a ending, and so we want to jump on a couple of stories because some information has come out about some stories that we've discussed in previous shows, and one of those stories was a couple of shows ago. We did a story of a woman. Her name was Claudette Colvin. For you guys don't know who that is, she was the young lady back basically 66 years ago before Rosa Parks who refused to give her her seat. And in a nutshell, in that, at the time, I believe she was 15, she was put on probation. Not
Mm-hmm.
put in jail, but she was put on probation. And all this time, she had been operating basically under probation.
Well,
You
and then I mean, remember to add that she even moved from her city because she felt like her family was going to be in danger because she didn't give up her seat, and she was arrested for assault on a police officer.
know,
And so she had to move out of the city, which was in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken.
right.
Uh, she had to move out the city because she felt like her family was going to be in danger. So she actually moved to Texas, where she had been living for those 66 something years. And so one day it just came back up to her that she never did get her record expunged, or if she ever got off of probation. And just like Boss Hall said, it popped up in the news again a couple of days ago that she did eventually get it expunged, correct?
Right.
I
Yeah.
saw the story. I didn't read it all the way through.
Right. It says Alabama Judge Calvin Williams wasn't born yet when 15-year-old Claudette Colvin was arrested for refusing to give up her seat on a bus. But 66 years later, he expunged her arrest record, clearing her name.
Mm-hmm.
And then so we want to salute that, but I want to go into what the judge says. It says, I want to thank you for your courage, your courageous act. I want to, on behalf of myself and all of the judges in Montgomery, offer my apology for an injustice that was perpetuated upon you. Williams said, sitting next to Colvin in an exclusive interview with CBS News. And so, again, that is the ending to this woman's terrifying experience because she was so worried about getting a job, how this would reflect on her family. And that's why I said she would, move and never heard anything. And so we want to salute that. And we're thankful that the court system finally right or wrong. So again, we want to applaud everybody for that. Any words, Diamond, rise on this story?
I mean, basically, I just think that, it's a good feeling just to know that every once in a while we get a little justice still that give us enough to keep us coming back for having that little bit of hope and a little bit of fighting power. So I think in this particular situation, I'm glad that it definitely worked out for her and her best interest, and that they gave us a little bit to, keep us going a little bit longer. You know how they do. They give us a little, take a little bit back,
Right. Oh, yeah. Listen, as long as we live, and I realize this, the fight for justice will continue until we're gone. As long as we're here as a people, that is going to be a fight that we're going to be continually to have. Also, you guys remember us talking about the high school, Bishop Sycamore, who made the news because they played a school called IMG Academy in Florida. And this game was nationally televised. And they basically got blew out 58-0. After that, everybody started having questions. Media started having questions about this school.
How did you even make it this far?
Yeah, how was this school able to play against a nationally ranked high school and get basically the hell beat out of them? And they were not the only national ranked school that they were slated to play. They were actually going to be slated to play Duncanville High School, who themselves just played their state championship game as well yesterday. Now, they fell short 17-10 to North Shore High School for the third time. It just seems like North Shore is their nemesis. It's almost like watching the Baltimore Ravens play Kansas City Chiefs. It took a minute for Lamar Jackson to finally beat Kansas City. And this is what we have here. But in any case, there has been a conclusion to that story. Again, when we first talked about it, we talked about the same thing. Who was this high school? Why were they able to play against all these top-notch schools? And where is this school located? And so, again, there's also a conclusion to that we want to bring up. Bishop Sycamore High found to be a scam after Ohio Department of Education investigation. The story goes on to say that Bishop Sycamore High School football team, which took a national televised 58-0 beatdown from IMG Academy, Florida in August, has faced immense legitimacy questions since the game. On Friday, the Ohio Department of Education confirmed the Columbus area school itself to be a scam. The story goes on to say that an investigation by the ODE found that Bishop Sycamore failed to meet Ohio minimum requirements for an educational institution. Investigators couldn't confirm the school's location, teachers' names, and found no evidence of multiple students being enrolled this year. Think about that. Leading them to deem Bishop Sycamore as not a school as it purports on paper to be in their 41-page report. So let's think about that. Here's what brought up the red flag from the beginning. I want to give you guys a timeline if you guys didn't know about it. So they played IMG, I believe, on a Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
The red flag came in because On Sunday, they were finna play another high-profile football game. Think about that. There's nobody in any sport other than basketball that kind of plays a schedule like that. In football, that is a no-no. So let's say it again. So they played against this high-profile football team, I believe on a Thursday, Friday. Skip a day. Then they were finna play on Sunday, another high school. And it started the red flags of, wait a minute, these young men supposed to have time in between games to
To
heal,
rest and to heal. Right.
rest. And from there, we had this floodgates. And so here we are with the end of it. Basically, this school is really non-existent. They are like a pyramid scheme. Y'all talk to me about that. What do y'all think about some idiot who I gotta say is black?
Well, but no, he's not an idiot because he made it that far. He finished putting all his dots together.
Okay, touche.
He's not an idiot because
he's by far.
He made it that far.
Right.
Stay. He just didn't finish putting all his dots. He forgot. He should have said, okay, let me figure out this schedule real quick. Okay, so we'll play them. Then 7 days. We'll go ahead and get them in. Then a couple of days. Then we'll go ahead and get them in. See, he got too excited.
Right.
Because he didn't know that he was gonna get that letter back that said you are accepted.
Right.
He was like, what? Oh, we did. Oh, okay. Well, let me get to making this schedule. See, right. he forgot about that part. He got too excited and he missed the step. That's how he got caught. No idiot whatsoever, because he made a whole school up. Not only did he make a whole school up, but he went and got him a team.
Right.
He recruited some folk. Hey, your baby play football? Okay, good. Come here. Hey, your baby, come on over. Don't worry about nothing. I got it. I just need them to come and play. Don't you worry about the transportation. We're not gonna even do no fundraisers. I got it all covered. I've been waiting for this day because he thought something else was going to happen, but he just fell short. Had he stayed on the path of thinking, and if he would have put the same plan together that he did when he filled out that paperwork, they probably would have won state.
Right. Yeah, you're right about that.
But he didn't. That's he should have went to all the little schools and got the best boys and said, hey, I'm gonna need your kids for about 6 weeks. I'll bring them back, but and no cost to you. Let me put that out there. No cost to you. I just need your best running back, your best quarterback and backup. I need the best and the second best. I don't need like a third or fourth. I need 2 greats in each element. So I done got us this far. So I need the best to carry us on. That's what should have happened.
Gotcha.
Well, man, I'm just trying to figure out, how did you even schedule these games without getting caught? For one, being in that field of education, when coaches sit down and the schedules are done throughout the district, there's some communications that go back and forth with who the coach is in the team and what district this school is in. So my thing is, where are all of these people that sat at this table that accepted him to come and play against their schools? They fell short on doing their homework, because how did he even get in this arena with a false school, to even get this far where you're actually playing out of state? And none of these people did their backup homework, because that's a part of being a coach, is you're supposed to know about the school you're playing, where they're coming from, what district they're in, their rank. Like, that's a part of being an athletic director, not even just the coach. That's a part of the whole athletic department, is to know the little fine tunings like that, and the ones that are actually making the schedule. Like, I've been in that room before, and you don't just take anybody and be like, yeah, we finna play them. That's not how that's supposed to go down. So these IMG Academy and these other schools, what were y'all doing that y'all even allowed this person to enter this arena without having the proper information and proper documentation for this to even happen? He shouldn't have even got that far.
Right.
That's what y'all don't understand. He did his homework on that level. He had all the documentation. It shot him in the foot. When it
No
was time to
accreditation. He
schedule.
didn't have accreditation. Like he didn't have, I'm sure, because schools are accredited by the sex programs. So now he was missing some stuff. The people on the other end, they didn't do their due diligence in finding out this critical information because he was definitely missing some stuff. There's no way he had every single one of those documentations. Now he did as much as he could do on his end, and I don't even fault him. You know, he played his game, he did what he can do, but these other schools did not do their homework at all. There was supposed to be some background information that goes with that and some litigation. Just like even in Little League, when the kids play Little League, you bring them that scale out there. If you think that little one player overweight, I went through my son every year because he was the coach's nightmare. When I tell you every game, my son was guaranteed to get weighed because they wanted to know if he was an inch overweight, he was not going to run that ball. I had to be in a room and let my son strip down to make sure. Like, there's some precautions you take. And we do this even in Little League and even on the high school level. There's precautions that's supposed to take. So the people didn't do their job. Yeah, he made some paperwork, but that background, those other teams, they definitely didn't do their part in taking care of what they needed to take care of.
Right. Now to that, what ended up happening is ESPN, because this game was nationally televised. ESPN said that we go through a third party for scheduling. So it was not ESPN directly in contact with either one of these schools. They really went through a company that kind of get these matchups together and everything. And so, of course, they done laid the blame off on somebody else. And then there were stories, man, guys who was coming out saying that, you know, what they were doing was so this school, and he lied. You just got to look up the article. What he was doing is this school was supposed to be an online school. It was supposed to be an online high school, and there were supposed to be campuses. Well, former students of this so-called school came out to say, man, we were sleeping in hotels. You know, he was having bounced checks because what he was doing is he was housing these guys in hotels. So you go to school online, but of course you still need to practice. And so he got these guys together so they practiced. But again, there was really no curriculum. Basically, boiled down to y'all didn't have no curriculum for these guys. Y'all really didn't have nothing. Again, no teachers. Who was the teacher? They didn't. My bigger question in all of this is why didn't the parents think nothing about it? My son is here in Dallas, Texas, right? And you reach out to me, all the way in Ohio. Because I want y'all to understand this. These students wasn't just local Ohio students. You get what I'm saying? These are the students that were coming from different areas, like IMG, who's basically like a, you know, big, what you want to call it, all-star team. You know, they go get the best of the best. They come there and they form a school, basketball, football, you name it. Those guys are top-notch athletes, all of them 5 stars. They just waiting they turn. And so that's what was happening with this school. So I look at the parents also. I look at the parents and say, were you guys not questioning, you know, damn, I ain't got no report card from you? Because mind you, this is a high school. This is not college. This is supposed to be a high school. So you got to be at least a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. Where your report card at? No parents came to games? I mean, this guy had to be one hell of a deceiver to deceive a whole basically a state. So now with that being said, I believe the state senator, governor, one of them is now they're trying to work to create laws to prevent this type of thing from happening again, because of course this has exposed you know, some flaws in how schools are created. Let's think about
no shit, right?
Yeah, this guy literally created a 41-page form or information in which whatever he had to supply in order to, you know, be registered as a high school, and it cleared. Again, This we wouldn't even be talking about this if them guys would have played on Friday and then played the following week. This would not be a story at all.
I wonder is his background in like the school? Like, was he a teacher? Was he a coach at a school? Because if he knew all the permanent information that he had to put on his paper, it seemed like at some point he may have been associated with the school district. Because I really just looked up while we were talking accreditation forms for schools. It's out there. Now, it wasn't 41 pages, but it at least get me started if I wanted to start a school. So it's not hard to do. It's just that, just like you said, we wouldn't be talking about this if the blimp wouldn't have happened with the scheduling.
Right.
If they would have played 1 week and then played the next, we would have been good. But to play on Friday and then play on Sunday, your coach not even say nothing.
Right.
Hey, anybody, I watched The Shop a lot with LeBron James, and that was one of the things. He was like, the next day I'm up and I'm doing everything, but he was like, that Tuesday I'm pretty much on my back because when the soreness kick in.
Yeah.
And that's why most teams don't practice on Tuesdays, because Monday you still kind of got a little bit of that adrenaline, but Tuesday is when it hit. And that's why a lot of teams don't practice. So you telling me that we're going to play on Friday, that next day I rest, our first rest day when our body is kind of like, okay, but Sunday when we going to tighten up, we still playing? And don't nobody else have anything to say about this?
Right.
That's probably what they were like, hey, somebody check the background on this coach.
Yeah, and that's what it was, because they fired the coach. And again, it's only one man mastermind behind it who was, found a way to fund this school or themselves, their, trips wherever they going. Because again, they were finna play top-notch schools. They were set to play Duncanville, Texas here. They were gonna play Duncanville. Duncanville is like the
Right.
number 2 in the nation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and finally now everybody let go. So they only end up playing one game, which was IMG. And then everybody else bailed after that because again, now it's like, wait, hold on. Apparently something's going on with that school. With that being said, man, we're gonna keep it moving. And we're gonna jump into some relationship topic. We always have an interesting relationship conversation. And so this conversation is no different. If you guys have been watching social media, pop culture news, whatever, legend, in the South, the brother that makes you say,
No.
yeah, listen.
No limit.
Yeah, this brother, Master P, wants the judge to declare him single. Let me say that again. Master P want a judge to declare him single. I know when you heard that, you're probably like me, who kind of scratched their head and was like, damn, how are you declared single? So the story goes on to say, and this is from TMZ, Master P says he's been separated from his estranged wife for over a decade, and he's ready to start a new chapter. So he wants the judge to step in and declare him single. If your ass is not scratching your head, something is wrong with you, because I know it would scratch my head just reading that part. So let's think about it. He's been separated from his wife for decades, but he wants the judge again to declare him single. So let's keep it moving. It says, in new legal docs obtained by TMZ, Master P says there's no reason he and his ex, Sonya Miller, should remain married any longer. So he's asking the court to restore their single status ASAP. Master P points out Sonya filed for divorce way back in 2013 after they separated in 2010, and he says they settled all their issues in 2016 and reached an agreement, but claims the paperwork was never submitted to the court. So to move things along, P has now filed legal docs requesting it's called a bifurcation of his divorce. Bifurcation. I hope I pronounced that right. Legal speak for both parties getting single status now and handling the rest of the divorce issues later. Let's stop right there. You know what? I'm gonna let you ladies go first on this because I got questions and shit to say about that.
I don't know why they just don't go just get a divorce. I mean, why would just file your divorce papers? Why are we filing? I mean, because whatever you're doing, you've been doing it. Let's just go ahead and put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're doing, you've been doing it. What's another? I mean, 6 weeks. Go take. You sign. She signed. Let's get this out the way. Unless something big is going to happen that we don't know about, and he need to be single right now. Because you've been doing it, whatever it is. Whatever it is, you've been doing it. So why now? Just, I mean, you said the papers got together. Y'all have agreed on everything. Why can't we get some more papers drawn up? You sign, I sign, and we up out of here. And I mean, that's the point that I don't get. Why do you need legal separation? It's something else going on that you ain't saying. Nah.
Right. Look, when I read this, and for you guys who also been following this whole asking the courts to declare you single, it's not new because Kim Kardashian has a similar situation where she wants the court to declare you single. There's no way for you to be declared single without getting a divorce. Fuck it. It ain't nowhere around. Excuse my language. I've been trying to hold it in because I'm like, we got to talk about this and the ignorance of this brother. And I look up to Master P. I think he's a excellent businessman, definitely excellent at marketing and doing all of this. And I'm with Roz. Like, it says again, in 2013, after they separated in 2010, and he says they settled all their issues in 2016. You couldn't have settled all your issues in 2016 because you would be divorced. Listen, divorce is as difficult as you make it. And it can be as easy as you make it. It ain't nothing but a piece of paper. You agree, I agree. You go before the judge. Boom, bam. We've already got everything together. Sign off on it. Go on y'all both ways. Now, here in Texas, ain't no such thing as there's no thing in Texas called legally separated. Because we're here in Texas. You can separate and y'all decide to live y'all lives totally different. You can date and do all that. First of all, you can't get married again. But legally, you're still married.
Right.
If one of y'all ass was to pass away, guess who would still have a say-so?
Their spouse.
With your funeral, and it is the spouse. So it don't matter who your ass is with. Me and this lady been together for 14 years. I've been separated for 25.
Nothing.
It means absolutely nothing. And I tell people this all the time. Well, you can have a legal agreement. No, you can't in Texas. Your asses go walk in court and they go laugh at you and tell you we do not recognize separation. You can't come to me with a piece of paper saying we want to legally separate. Say, for instance, you got kids, right? You don't. So you separated. And so now you come up with agreement on how you're going to take care of the children. The court will look at your ass crazy and say, you can't do that here. If you go to the court and you do it and think if you go to an attorney and y'all come up with agreement and then y'all try to live by that agreement and say, for instance, somebody no longer want to follow that agreement, you're going to, again, go in court and the court is going to tell you, we don't recognize none of this. That's just how cold Texas is. Because either you're going to stay married
or not,
or you're going to get a divorce. You're not going to be able to play in between. And so this is why I'm not understanding, even with Master P, if she filed, why you just have not said, okay, this has been a dead issue and let me just go on and file for divorce.
Right. And that's the part that I don't get. Like, what is, because you've been living single. I mean, let's just go ahead and put it out there. You've been living like you were single for however long y'all been separated. Why now are you just saying, hey, just declare me single? Let's just say, let's declare you divorced.
Right. Right. You divorced.
It's painful. I mean, it's the same amount of effort it's gonna take to declare you single as it is to declare you divorced, unless something else that we don't see and you ain't seeing.
Well, it is something else in there, because if you think about the comment, it doesn't even make sense, because he's saying declare me single and we'll figure out the rest later. before that, you said the rest was already figured out. So it's evident that when y'all said y'all figured it out, somebody didn't agree with whatever was put on them last sets of paper in 2016. And so probably him or the wife, somebody didn't agree. So somebody didn't sign that paper and y'all just went on y'all way and thought, let me come back and it's going to be over with. Because honestly, I thought he was already divorced until I saw this. And I'm like, huh, what? Because even on the show, growing up, growing up hip hop or whatever, you know, with Romeo, they had a discussion a couple of seasons back, and they was talking about the mama because, you know, her and Romeo had an issue where she was suing him behind some money and stuff, and so all of that kind of came out then. So honestly, I thought they were already divorced. But it's evident that you guys didn't agree on those papers that you saying were already done. But I'm like, yeah, what is we declaring we single for? How about we just hurry up and negotiate whatever thing that needs to be fixed? How about we put that on writing, fix that, sign that, and then let the judge hit the gavel? Because the same amount of time to hit it to do the declaring single is the same amount of time it's going to happen to say, okay, you're officially divorced. So I'm like, okay, who whispering in your ear? You know,
right?
What you got going on that's so important now? Or what female that doesn't know enough about law telling you, oh, I can't be with you until you not with her? That they don't even understand. No, boo, you want him to be divorced, not declared single.
Right. And watch this. Again, we're gonna say, and I have an idea what happened. If she's the one that's filed for divorce, and I explain this to people all the time, divorce is not cheap. Let me say that again. Divorce is not cheap. I'm going to throw y'all my number out there. About 10K. Divorce is not cheap. It is not cheap. So I can see if she's the one that filed for divorce, as the story says. More than likely, I'm telling you what happened. She ran out of money to finish the divorce. It happens all the time. Depending on the attorney, and let's use my attorney for a minute. Shout out to Tiffany Camuche. Listen, me and this woman been in a longer relationship than I've ever been with any woman. I joke about that all the time. I've been in a longer relationship with my attorney than a woman. So this is how my attorney operates. And some attorneys do this. You know, initially, you know, when you meet, you know, you got to come off the rip with them nothing less than $5,000. That's off the gate. What that does is that starts the process. Attorneys have paralegals and other people who are also getting paid. And what happened is I forgot what my attorney calls it, but it's like a trust. So think of it this way. You're putting money in a trust and they're going to use that money to start your divorce. Let me say that again, to start your shit. So it's easy to run out of $5,000 out the gate, but that gets the ball rolling. So say she sits up here and she had money to start the divorce, but then her attorney came back and said, well, hey, your trust is empty. And it will happen.
But your trust about Master P, I mean, he wants this divorce too.
Right, but again, listen, Master P is not out the clear. He ain't the clear. I'm just explaining to those people who've never been through divorce and how attorneys work, how it started. And what I'm saying is how more than likely it never end, because he's not out the clear by far. More than happen again. What happened is that she ran out of money. She did not have the money to end the divorce. Maybe the attorney was charging, I don't know, $2,000. She might not have had it. We really don't hear too much about Master P's wife. We don't know if she has money or not. Now let's jump on Master P. There's still no excuse to end this story by saying the paperwork was never filed, because guess what? You still got a copy of the agreement. You yourself then, when you seen a year later that y'all didn't go back to court to end the divorce, you could have went to court yourself to say, hey, Nothing ever came of this. I want to end this divorce. We already have the agreement. You know, we've come up with whatever it is for the divorce. Bam, let me refile that paperwork because the attorney's just going to draw it up, submit that. You go to court. There's nothing to argue because you guys have already have decided on whatever you're going to do, which is basically in their case, because their kids are older, it's just get the divorce. Just have it on the damn divorce decree, piece of paper. So Master P is in no way out of the clear because he himself went on to live his life. Here it is, 2016. You did this. We're in 2021 going in 2022. You're not that busy. Your ass ain't that busy. Stop advertising them damn cereal.
I mean, we've been on COVID for at least a year and a half now, locked down. You could have been done had this done.
And did it virtually. Because depending on where you are, you can't even step foot in the court. They'll do it virtually.
I know my tickets was done virtually. Thank you to Grand Prairie PD.
Yeah, so
mine was that was recent. That was Friday, and it's still virtual.
So it's not like Master P is this brother who does not have money to where he couldn't spend a couple of $1,000s, whatever his attorney was going to charge, or whatever family attorney he found, to go on and get his divorce done. Now, too, again, you know how media is, TMZ. Maybe that's just how they worded it, because we all know you can't be declared single. You can't. You can't go to court and say, hey, judge, declare me single. No, they go declare your ass divorced. Then you single, but you're not going to be in there playing this game of, okay, you're single because y'all been separated for X amount of time, and then we gonna come back together and then divorce you. That don't even make sense. A judge with some sense would not ever do no shit like that. Because it don't make sense. Get the divorce done and keep it moving. So my thing to Master P is, instead of waiting, the entrepreneur and the go-getter you say you are, because now I got to be petty. You know, you preach and teach, going out there and get it, and okay, go out there and get your damn divorce. I mean, how about that?
That's why I said it had to be something else, because that's not even him.
Right. I just think I believe with Master P, and I don't know the brother, but I believe it's still his fault that he's not divorced either. Because again, you don't have to wait. I mean, I heard from people all the time who are separated. And I'm like, what you waiting on? I mean, y'all been separated for a couple of years. You get what I'm saying? What you waiting on? Okay, apparently they ain't got the money. Y'all ain't got, especially if you don't have nothing between y'all. Little kids, property. Right. It's easy. That's the listen.
All y'all kids making their own money.
Right.
They all grown.
So you don't have kids between you. You guys don't have property. You wouldn't even spend, you wouldn't even spend $1,000. Well, you might spend $2,000, just depending on the attorney. Because again, depending on your situation, what you're trying to do is what's going to pretty much determine, what the attorney is going to charge you. You get what I'm saying? In this case, with this brother, you're not going to get charged an arm and a leg to say, hey, I just need you to end my divorce. That don't take a lot of money. That just take, I need you to get me into court, explain what's going on. We've already did everything. I just need you to finalize divorce, because that's basically what he's talking about. The paperwork wasn't filed. In other words, the divorce was not finalized. All this brother has to do is just finalize the divorce. With that being said, come on, Master P. Look, you better than that. Take time out from marketing rap snacks, your new noodles, your new cereal, your Mignati tennis shoes that's running about $300. Takes time from all that. Your Master P, what's that? No Limit tour. They were just here. Just take a little time out and go on and take care of your business. That's some shit I tell my son. Focus on your business. How about you focus on your business? So with that being said, man, we just got one more topic. It's serious, but it's funny to me. For you guys that probably hadn't seen it in the news. A principal of LeBron James' I Promise School resigns after allegedly slapping the hell out of an 11-year-old student in the face. Listen, this is not a deep story. So I'm just going to put it out there like this. Apparently, this principal heard a student curse either at her but in her vicinity. Whatever it is, she was close enough to pop his ass in the face. The story goes on to say that this young kid, this 11-year-old, cursed in front of her, and she says instinctively she popped him in the mouth. Sound like some shit your mama do. You shouldn't be saying something you shouldn't say, and then you know that backhand is coming just that quick because you was just out of line. She ended up texting the mother saying, "Hey," which I do commend her from doing. She did text the mother to say, "Hey, I've I slapped your child. This is the reason why." And then she put in her resignation. Now on social media, I put it out there fair or foul because so I want to know, was it fair or foul in her actions as a principal? Y'all got at it.
Well, I mean, I'll let Dama go first on this one because she is in the school district. I just have my own personal opinions.
So, as an educator, yes, it is totally wrong. That was out of line for her to slap the little boy. I do commend her on, contacting a parent and telling them. But also on a personal note, as an educator, it is very easy to have a mama moment, especially a black mama moment, and kind of swoop that hand out there, and do it. And then reading the whole article, the school kind of says they function as a family. So if you're functioning as a family and you're taking on that role, I can kind of see even more easier how it is for you to slip up and accidentally slap a kid. Is it wrong? Yes, it definitely is wrong. We all know that it's not allowed. You don't put your hands on anybody else's kids. And yes, I'm in a school district, so yes, I'm saying all that right now because I don't know who's listening to me and parents out here that's gonna go back and say this teacher on the radio talking about you should slap a kid. No, this teacher did not. That's my disclaimer. But can I sympathize with that? Do I understand it? Yes. I work at a middle school. So that 11-year-old child, I have some of them. Those 11, 12-year-old, 13-year-olds, and they tend to get mouthy. They tend to cuss you out. You do have moments of, recently, one called me the bitch word. So, yeah. But what I do personally is I step back because I know me. And like I tell my students, hey, don't let my education fool you. I'm straight hood. And at any moment, this hood just might come out in this classroom. So I personally have to take a step back, and my kids know because I breathe. I might even do the fingers and start counting, letting them know, hey, give me my moment. Get out of my space. Don't even come in my space. Because I didn't gave you the warning, this is my space, and I need this moment because I do need to regroup. Because we do, as an educator, you have those moments because some of these kids, they're not some of them have home training and they still just do what they want to do, but a lot of them don't have that home training and they're just out of line nowadays. So there are things that you do have to look out and say about, but especially as a principal, in all honesty, we expect them to have more control because honestly, the principal don't deal with kids as much as the teacher does. That teacher is like constantly with that child. Principals have those spaces and gaps, and they can go to their office and shut the door and all of that stuff. So I do feel like more is behind the scenes that you slap the kid and you immediately turn in your resignation. Because normally you do an investigation and you go through a process. And so I'm feeling like maybe this isn't the first time she's done this. Maybe this has happened several times where it's like, you know what, let me just go on and resign right now before it gets even uglier. Or perhaps after she texted the mama, there was some more words. There's definitely more to it that you immediately went ahead and turned in their resignation. There has to be, some more ongoing stuff. Or definitely maybe this is not the first time it's happened.
Yeah, I can agree with that. In reading the story, it said that the school district and the community, they had nothing negative to say about this lady leading up to this occurrence. And with that being said, to me, why was her resignation even accepted? We all know our kids. we all know that if we get a call from the principal and the principal says, "Hey, your baby was in here talking," we done tried to do put her in the corner. We done tried timeout. We done tried detention. She still needs to talk. If you know your child, you're gonna know. Yes, she do it at home.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't no shutting up. Um, when she get home, I talk to her. Maybe we need to separate her from her best friend, or, like right now, my grandson has to sit next to the teacher because he want to answer every question that there's to answer. So now he get to ask the questions, so he can at least be quiet while the other students are trying to answer. You figure, you
Right.
figure. So when
Yeah,
my daughter, because I asked my daughter, I was like, "How does he sit still at school?" Because Mason in his house is a tornado. He's on top of any and everything at any in every given moment. And she said because he's the teacher's helper. So he gotta be still because that's what the teacher helper do. So that's the trick part of it. Is that to be the teacher helper, you gotta do what the teacher do. So the teacher sit down, you have to sit down. So with that, you know your kids. And this little boy probably done cussed a whole lot before. And this time she was like, you know what? I'm not finna go back and forth with you today. We're not even finna do this. Now I told y'all to go back in the bathroom and get up your mess because it all stemmed from they had did some stuff in the board. They had messed up the boy's bathroom. And he probably said, "You ain't my mama, bitch. You know how we get." Or you got
Right.
to sit in there and clean it up. Or something. And she probably got the black mama head turned first.
Right.
Being the reactionary back across the face. That's probably now had she called me and said, "Hey, I had to get with your child today. What she do? Tell me what she do before we get into hours." I told her to do something and she told us you had to say nothing else. I can probably tell you how she did her head. I can probably tell you how she did her hand. Because
Right.
I done had to knock her down the hallway before from the same actions. Now, I don't agree with you putting your hands on my child like that, but I understand. So let's not let this happen again. And I'll be up there tomorrow so we all can sit in and talk about it.
Right.
Because according to them, they knew her on a personal level. So
Right.
this is not her intent. She don't normally hit these kids. She was provoked by something your child did. And that's the point that we don't get. Most of the parents are not honest when it comes to their kid. They want to go in there
Come on now.
reactionary. You can tell me what mine did, and I can tell if they tell me, well, she started a fight. No, that's not her. Now, what she will do, she gonna wait till you hit her, and then
Right.
she fighting. I said, because we are taught in my house, as long as you don't pass the first lick, I will support you 100% with whatever happened after that. But don't you hit the girl first, because
Right.
your
Right.
action was reactionary. Once my mama told me that back in high school, you don't get in trouble if they hit you first. Also, I just have to take the first lick.
Right. Right. It was on and pop.
Right.
I
That's
mean,
that's the rule.
don't let this mouthpiece get to work because you're gonna want to hit me, and that's all I need you to do. Because when my
Right.
mama come up there, mama, she hit me first.
Right.
before the teacher say something, before the principal, before the little girl, before the probation, the little cop that we had at the school. Mama, she hit me first. Did she hit her first? Is that what everybody's saying? Yes, mama, she hit me first. And we don't have nothing to talk about. She shouldn't have put her hands on my baby. That's what I'm talking about. Are we ready?
Right. Hey, I'm telling you, man. Look, I think we were all taught that. I think we come from that household that had that philosophy. Like, if you get in trouble and it's your fault, you go handle those consequences of you doing what you're not supposed to. But if you're doing what you're supposed to do, we'll support you all day. I'm the same way with my children. I tell mine all the time when they was in school, and even my daughters now that are in school. In school, you play by a different set of rules.
Right.
You just play by a different set of rules. Now, outside of school, that's a whole different conversation. But in school, you play by those set of rules. Also, reading the article again, I just basically compressed the story. The mother was like, she should be held accountable. Now, you should be saying my son should be held accountable. Was the teacher or the principal wrong? Yes. But as parents, as black parents, you an educator, we deal with children in our organization.
Yes.
Not just in our organization, but I'm sure in other organizations, church, and everything. We know you're going to run across kids who don't give a damn. First and foremost, why are you 11-year-old and cussing?
That's a
The story didn't say that the mother responded by saying, I want to apologize for my daughter's behavior. Like this is real life. My daughter's school, no, I don't play. They know I don't play. Call me with Malaya. You hear me? Call me with Malaya. I want to hear what's going on. Malaya, what's going on? And you better tell it. So they already know. And we also grew up in an era where at the time you could be disciplined.
Right.
See, our teachers used to whoop us. See, first of all, if you were bad, like Dom said, rarely did you have to go to the principal because your teacher would discipline you. If you went to the principal, your ass was bad.
Right.
If you had to go to the principal, if the principal had to give you licks, your ass was bad because back then, your teacher could give you licks. I remember getting licks from my 4th grade teacher. I ain't got to send you to the principal because that's just how it went back then. Then, of course, as rules change and laws change, what took that, I don't want to say fear, but the discipline from the teacher to be able to say, hey, I'm going to keep you in check. You didn't even have to call mama unless it was something major because it already got taken care of. Now, if you had one of them old school teachers, the teacher would say, tell your mama you got licks. I know she go ask, and I'm going to tell your mama why. And so now you have this situation with this principal again who it definitely had to be reactionary. It definitely, like the story says, she doesn't have a history of doing none of this, having any issues. She's highly spoken of, But I think the reason why she did that resignation is because in her mind, that might have been the best thing to do. You get what I'm saying? I've just physically assaulted a child. I might be facing criminal actions. We got to think about that too. This is a minor. So let me remove myself while they do this investigation, and then we'll go from there. I hate it happen again. We're in no way condoning, physical altercations and the slapping of any student. We're not saying that. What we're saying is that as Black parents, not just as educators, because you don't have to just be an educator to be in children's lives. We understand kind of how it went, and again, if you guys had that philosophy of family that went along with it, that discipline is going to look different. Let's be real about it. That school operates a little bit different from the regular districts around, the regular schools around there. They operate totally different. And so if you have that family mentality, that was mama that hit, or auntie that hit that student. You see what I'm saying? She stepped out of principal to be, mama, auntie, sister, auntie, and just had a moment. And so, we hate that it happened. It is my hope that whatever board that is doing investigation and who's going to finally have a say-so on what's going on with her, are lenient. You get what I'm saying?
Lenient.
Definitely lenient in their discipline, because again, she's not going to go without some form of discipline. That's going to happen. And that's really about it. So again, was it fair or foul? With that being said, man, we've come to the end of our show. This is the last show of 2021. Before I turn it over to my co-host, I want to thank everybody for tuning in this year. As I've said on many occasions, I thought about many times just saying, we had a good run, it was fun, and I'm not feeling it. Because in real life, everybody has issues and stuff going on. Also, feeling like, we're not reaching people until you find out that we are reaching people. We are affecting people. Everybody's not going to tell you that. Some people just want to watch. I learned that when I got to delete people from my social media page, to realize when I'm getting inbox messages like, hey, why did you delete me? I'm like, well, because you didn't say nothing. And they're like, well, just because I didn't say nothing doesn't mean I'm not watching, doesn't mean that I'm not listening. And so I take that with this. Also, I want to thank Diamond again for lighting the fire up under me, man, because you came to me when I was like, damn this show, you know. And again, as I stated, you know, we literally are, as far as I know here, the longest running internet show so far. You get what I'm saying? And that's something to be proud of as we go into our 5th year. Yeah, we've been doing this 5 years. It seemed like it was yesterday, but it's been 5 years. So, Diamond, I definitely appreciate you for reaching out to me, wanting to be a part of what we have going on. And I say we because my rider has been with me from day one, Roz. And so, thank you for sharing your voice. I thought about what am I giving when I do this, and then I realized I've given so many Black women a voice. Not too many people can say that. I'm finding reasons to be grateful in how, not to pat myself on the back, but my purpose. You know, as I get older, I want to know when I do things is for a purpose. I just don't want to be just doing shit for the sake of doing stuff. And so, you know, having a platform that's open for women of color to have a voice. Because the truth is more women of color been on my show than brothers. And so again, Diamond, thank you so much. Roz, listen, I read your Thanksgiving post. I get the notification. I love you to the moon and back. You are very loyal to me in this show, and I appreciate you for that. Even when you took your break, you get what I'm saying? You came back slowly but surely, and now you rocking with us 100%. And so I'm forever grateful for you also because you guys are my motivation for continuing to do this show. With that being said, man, I want to turn it over to you guys because again, this is going to be our last show of the year. I wanted to end it on a bang. I wanted to end it being grateful and thankful to both of you women. So I'm going to turn it over to Diamond first, and then Roz, you're going to end the show. Diamond, talk to us.
I just definitely want to say, I'm grateful for the opportunity to even be here and for you allowing me to be on your platform and to help me out when I reached out to you and telling you what I wanted to do and just giving me that opportunity. It's definitely been a learning experience. I didn't even realize until this week that it's actually been a year because my VCAM subscription went out and I was like, oh my God, it's really, I didn't even realize it had been that long until that little VCAM talking about it's time to renew. And I was like, well, I didn't get this until I started the show. So,
Right.
oh wow. I didn't, myself didn't even have taken it for granted. Just the time that I've been here, definitely being here with Roz has been amazing as well. And I just felt like everything worked out for a reason and for a purpose because I definitely looked at how, when Roz was gone, then I came and then I had my little helpster. And by the time I had that, you had Roz to be back here with you. So I was like, I just seen the wheel working in motion. I just thought about that. And even just to Roz, when you reached out to me, making sure I was good and I was okay, I was like, yeah, I'm just trying to get this together so I can get back. So I definitely appreciate all of that. I appreciate the opportunity just being here. I just love it because it is another outlet to give me the opportunity to say some things that, I probably any other way would just keep it to myself because for the most part, I'm an introvert at moments and I play extrovert, but on the inside, I'm really an introvert. So I just thank, for having the opportunity. Love both of you guys. Definitely love the relationship that we have and how it is continuing to grow. I want to wish everybody out there in the radio podcast land happy holidays, a happy new year, and I look forward to the things that we're going to bring back in 2022.
Already, thank you. And lastly, my
Well, I don't have that
nigga.
much to say. I mean, I said all mine on Thanksgiving. I'm thankful to being here, working with the people in the past and present, because we've had a lot of great people that come through here
Yes.
now that we form relationships with. I mean, I was over to Raymond's house the other day picking up toys or getting some from his garage sale. He sent me links about different stuff that he knows that I'm doing. Talked to Brock the other day. And then the other guests that we have on the shows that we've made friendships with, still talk to that people. So it's just been an experience all the way around. 100, I always say 360, but then somebody told me it's actually 180. So
180.
It's one of them.
Right. Right.
It's one of the two that I have experienced. Because to me, 360 means full circle, and then 180, you're like halfway there. In my head, it don't make sense. But
Right.
one of the two.
Uh-huh.
I'm grateful for it, whatever number it is. 100%. How about that? That we'll just leave it at that. 100%. But no, I mean, we're still growing, we're still learning, we're still trying to, unchart new things, try to make the show interesting, trying to still bring more people in. You can never have enough listeners, right? Even if they're
Right.
listening with the intent to hate, it's still listening. You're bringing what I say on to somebody else, which is going to make them come back and listen. So you're still bringing one over here. However you want to do it, we're still getting our numbers. So
Right.
keep doing whatever it is that you're doing. We appreciate it, even though you mean it for evil. We're glad that you're doing it. Whatever.
Yes, sir.
So keep talking. Everybody have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. Of course, we'll be posting stuff on Facebook on our page, just to make sure you guys are still tuned in. I myself is not going to have a great Christmas this year. My babies, y'all know my boys, were there with their other side of the family in Fayetteville.
Mm.
So we're gonna have their Christmas when they get back in January. I think they're gone for 2 weeks. So we're gonna have their Christmas when they get back. So that means everything will have to stay up. Santa gonna have to come down the chimney. We will have to make act like he on the roof.
Right.
All other kids are just gonna come twice. On this one. So my boys are not gonna be here. So it's we've had plenty Christmases with Mason. And Kane, this will be his first real Christmas to where he get to open up something because he was, 4 or 5 months last year. This year he's, popping age because he's walking upstairs. He's trying to climb up on. He's walking. He's popping age. So it's just not going to be the same. So be prayerful for me on that because it'll be my first one. Like these are my kids, but
right.
like these are mine, but they're my grandkids. And if anybody know me, you know them boys because I'm 100% talking about them, good, bad, or indifferent. But for everybody else out there, even if you're not with your family, just know that your family will always be thinking about you, and they are sending blessings towards your way, even if they will not be with you on that day. And just have a happy New Year, and I look forward to kicking this thing up after the New Year.
Oh yeah, again, want to thank you guys for tuning in. I also want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. We come back excited coming into 2022. So again, we will be back strong. We will be bringing a couple of new segments and everything else. Again, it is our goal as we continue to grow in this. It feels a little bit different. We had to do it virtually because of the pandemic. And so, honestly, I'm still trying to get comfortable with the interaction virtually because it was nothing like us being together in a studio around each other. You get what I'm saying? And so I'm still trying to get comfortable with this whole virtual thing and the virtual conversation. It just felt like, I've never said this, just felt like the chemistry was a little bit off. Yeah, we make it happen, but just still getting used to the whole virtual aspect of doing this show. Again, thank you guys. Please go to all our social media platforms, like us on Facebook, go to Instagram, The Petty Crew, follow us there, Twitter, The Petty Crew 1. Please go to YouTube to subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Petty Crew as well. Again, we look forward to seeing you guys next year. Until then, you guys stay blessed.